speak on being a shadow behind your father's towering figure as a kid. It eventually led to you also becoming a pastor just like him. At what point did you realize that the shield was no longer there and you had to face the sunshine directly?
I think I really, yeah, I'm a daddy's girl. And so what I talk about is standing in dad's shadow as a little kid and playing in his shadow and how much I love to do that. And as I grew up, I began to gain my own sense of individuality. And while he was still there as kind of a safety net, that protection, that steady force in my life, that steady presence was not the same as when I was a little girl. And so, it wasn't the vision in college that kind of led me to go to seminary that really I felt like was stepping outside of his shadows. But I feel like when I ultimately started seminary, because when I started seminary, I was not yet in ministry, had not yet what we would call answered the call to ministry. But when I answered that call to ministry, probably like a year into seminary, that's when everything got real. That's when everything got real, because in ministry, you come up against so much and you have to decide, you don't get to sit down on what you feel like is your calling in life. You don't get to just sit on the side of the road when something happens. And so I had to quickly learn, even as a woman in ministry, when things came my way that may have been disrespectful or people didn't understand, how I could be called to ministry. And sometimes in their own ignorance or lack of teaching that they got growing up, that I had to handle those things. It was no longer that I get to just pick up the phone and call my dad. Yes, maybe for advice, but I had to ultimately answer those things for myself, because I was the person that had that call. I was the person that said, yes, God, I will dedicate my life to this. And so that's what I feel like when we step out of the shadows of those who may inspire us, who may be healthy for us. That is the time when we really begin to grow. That's when the rubber meets the road. When we get outside of shadows that can some kind of, I would say, be so protective of us that we don't even feel the sunshine.
Pushplaypods.com